Live video stuff. It was right out before the house.
All right. Okay, thanks. Hi, I'm Matt Riley. I'm the press officer for the U.S. Attorney's Office. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. At the front of the room today is going to be U.S. Attorney Philip R. Selinger, FBI Special Agent in charge for Newark Division, James Dennehy, AUSA's Matt Nikich, Sean Farrell, and Dave Malagold. The names and the spellings are all in the press release. The press releases and the indictment are available online, and there are also hard copies out in the foyer. So we'll get started in a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Philip Selinger, the United States Attorney for the District of New Jersey. With me today is Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Newark Division, James Dennehy, Assistant United States Attorneys David Malagold and Matthew Nikich, and Head of the U.S. Attorney's Cybercrime Unit, Sean Farrell. We're here today to announce that the office has obtained an indictment charging 3 Iranian nationals for directing a massive global computer hacking scheme and ransomware scheme. As alleged in the indictment, the cyber criminals attacked hundreds of victims around the world, including here in New Jersey and elsewhere in the United States, as well as in the United Kingdom, Israel, and even in Iran, where they operated. Not only was this scheme massive, but it focused on particular types of victims. As alleged, these defendants hacked the computer systems of public agencies and entities that provided critical infrastructure services like medical care, power, and transportation, even a domestic violence shelter. Sometimes these victims stole the data that they hacked. Sometimes they threatened to hold the hacked computer hostage unless the victims paid a ransom. In all instances, the acts were illegal. They broke the law. The 3 named defendants are Mansour Ahmadi, Ahmad Taqibi Akdal, and Amir Hossan Nikayen Raware. All are Iranian nationals. They committed these crimes from inside Iran. As of now, each of them are fugitives. By charging them in this indictment, by publicly naming them, we are stripping their anonymity away. They cannot operate anonymously from the shadows anymore. We have put a spotlight on them as wanted criminals. Through this indictment, we seek to disrupt their criminal operations, to make it harder for them to commit future crimes, and to send a clear message to other would-be cyber criminals that the United States will come after those who seek to use technology and victimize our companies, our citizens, and our allies. All three defendants are charged with one count of conspiring to commit fraud using computers in connection with multiple cyber attacks, one count of intentionally damaging a protected computer, and one count of transmitting an extortion demand. The latter two counts in connection with the attack on a Morris County, New Jersey accounting firm. In addition, defendant Ahmadi is charged with an additional count of intentionally damaging a protected computer in connection with a cyber attack on a township in Union County, New Jersey. The conspiracy and extortion demand charges each carry a maximum prison sentence of 5 years, while the damaging a computer charge carries a maximum 10-year sentence. If convicted, these defendants would also face fines, having to forfeit their ill-gotten gains and be ordered to repay the victims for the losses they caused. I want to go into some detail about what the defendants did and how they did it. First, who they targeted. As detailed in the indictment, the scheme was massive and targeted organizations across the spectrum: small businesses, government agencies, non-for-profit programs, educational and religious institutions. A common feature of their victims was that they provided essential services: local government, housing, power, a domestic violence shelter. Services people depend upon every day, services that, if taken away, hurt the public. The cyber attack included victims such as a township in New Jersey in February 2021, an accounting firm in Illinois in April 2021, 2 power companies in Mississippi and Indiana in October 2021, a domestic violence shelter in Pennsylvania in December 2021, a housing authority in Washington State in January 2022, and a construction company in Washington State in February 2022. Second, how they hacked their victims. As alleged in the indictment, the defendants took advantage of vulnerabilities in the victims' computer systems. That got them in the door. Once they broke in, the defendants typically installed a cyber tool known as fast reverse proxy, which allowed them to stay in, so that even if the victims wanted to kick them out, they could remain. These hackers also sometimes used a security feature, BitLocker, to encrypt or lock their victims' data, denying them access, cutting off the victims from their own systems. As we allege in the indictment, once these defendants had control of the victim systems, they stole the data and sought to make money. Many times, the defendants transmitted ransom notes to the victims. They would send these ransom notes through the victims' own printers. The defendants would demand payment in Bitcoin from the victims, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they would threaten to keep the victims' data locked up or sell it to others if their ransom demands were not met. This is one of the ransom demands that appeared on the printer of one of the victims. It reads, "Hi, if you are reading this, it means your data is encrypted and your private sensitive information is stolen. Read carefully the whole instructions to avoid any problems. You have to contact us immediately to resolve this issue and make a deal. We will sell your data if you decide not to pay or try to recover them." This prosecution demonstrates that while these cyber criminals were sophisticated, persistent, and patient, so are we. The dedicated agents of the FBI and assistant United States attorneys of my office patiently and relentlessly gathered information. They did the detective work, and they traced this scheme to the 3 defendants we've charged. Hackers like these 3 Iranian nationals go to great lengths to keep their identities secret, but they always leave a digital trail, and we will find it. Ransom-related cyber attacks, like what happened here, are a particularly destructive form of cybercrime. No form of cyber attack is acceptable, but ransomware attacks that target critical infrastructure can harm national security. There is no higher priority for us and our FBI partners than protecting our people, and that includes protection against serious and growing cyber threats to the public and businesses. That's why identifying and prosecuting computer hackers, wherever they operate from, is a singular focus for us. Finally, I want to speak about the public's role in helping us fight the persistent cyber threat. Every part of our society and sector of our economy are targets of malicious cyber activity, like the scheme alleged in the indictment here. The events described in this indictment highlight the need for businesses, healthcare institutions, public entities, and other organizations to emphasize cybersecurity, increase threat awareness, and harden their computer networks. We can help you do that. Members of my office, along with our counterparts at the FBI, routinely meet with organizations to discuss cybersecurity. Public outreach is part of our mission, and we are here to help. The public also plays a critical role in our ability to investigate and prosecute cybercrime. Individuals who have been or believe they may have been the victim of a ransomware attack should contact law enforcement immediately. That way we can help victims understand what happened, share information about related incidents, help them mitigate damage, decrypt data that may have been encrypted, and ensure proper investigation and preservation of evidence. I'd like to now ask Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Newark office, Dennehy, to make a few remarks.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Jim Dennehy, SAC of the FBI Newark office. The FBI Newark division has added Mansour Ahmadi, Ahmad Katibi Akhtar, and Amir Hossein Nikaim Rawari to its list of most wanted criminals. The Rewards for Justice program is offering $10 million for information related to the activities of these defendants. As the U.S. Attorney laid out, these 3 defendants are associated with 2 cyber-enabling companies located in Iran that were allegedly engaging in cyber crimes on a global scale. Our investigation found that these actors compromised or attempted to compromise the networks of a myriad of organizations and companies worldwide through computer intrusion. The FBI has identified hundreds of victims and is working with our law enforcement partners around the world to identify and assist those victimized by these crimes and to pool our knowledge and resources in an effort to build a wall of resistance against the threat of cyber ransom activities. This global law enforcement effort should send a clear message to those actors who think they can't be found in cyberspace. Your days of hiding behind a keyboard are waning. We will find you. The FBI and our global partners continue to work behind the scenes, putting together a strategy that will have a significant impact on these cyber adversaries. We are also utilizing our strong ties to the private sector partners to identify network vulnerabilities. The result of this work is a 4-country, 8-partner agency cyber security advisory that will identify the tactics, techniques, and procedures used by cyber criminals. Additionally, this cybersecurity advisory will provide mitigating steps for our partner countries to help prevent future cyber attacks from occurring. I would like to recognize the diligent efforts of the entire team who contributed to this case, from our cyber squad in Newark to our assistant U.S. attorneys, all of whom have dedicated long hours over many months to bring this case to this point. I also want to recognize and thank our global partners who have worked with us on this matter and who continue to dedicate resources to the effort of containing this threat. Finally, I want the people of New Jersey and across this country to know this. The FBI is working tirelessly every day to protect you from people and things you might not ever see. Cybercrimes take on many forms, from compromising the power grid of a major city to hacking somebody's personal email in order to run a fraud scheme. In these instances, and thousands more outside the cyber realm, we are keeping watch and taking steps to keep you safe. Thank you all for being here and for helping us alert the public.
Thank you, Special Agent in Charge Dennehy, for your office's continued commitment to the investigation and prosecution of emerging cybercrime schemes. I'd like to thank the team of exceptional agents from the FBI who have doggedly pursued the perpetrators of the scheme charged in the indictment today. I would also like to thank the Department of Justice's National Security Division for its collaboration in connection with this prosecution. And from my own office, thanks again to Assistant United States Attorneys David Malagold, Matthew Nikich, and Chief of our Cyber Unit, Sean Farrell. Let me say one other word before we take questions. When talking about cybercrime, we get bogged down in all sorts of phrases. What we're really talking about is information. Information is the lifeblood of our global economy. Information is money. Information gets stored on our computer systems. And that's why hackers like these 3 defendants worked so hard to get it. Stopping the flow of information or stealing it can hinder critical services our communities depend upon. Think about doctors who can't access vital health records, delaying treatment. Think about engineers who can't access records or perform complex computations while they're trying to fix bridges. There is a real cost to holding hostage information and our critical information, and it's more, far more than just the amount of the ransom. And that's another reason why our office and our law enforcement offices will always pursue these cases vigorously. I'm happy to take some questions.
So I was wondering if you could fill us in on how much money this group was able to come up with, and were you able to recover any of that cryptocurrency by perhaps going onto the blockchain or with other methods?
The indictment, which has been released now, describes one incident of ransom being paid. The indictment does not allege other information, and the indictment is limited to the facts that we're able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt based on unclassified information. But our investigation is certainly continuing, and we have forfeiture allegations, and we will hunt down and seize assets and recover them.
And when you talk about power plants in Mississippi and Indiana, hospitals, can you detail a little bit the nature of the problems that they were experiencing as a result of these hacks and malware?
Well, the indictment does not get into the problems that they were experiencing, but what I can tell you is that when victims contact the FBI and contact law enforcement, what law enforcement and the FBI is able to do is to help them decrypt information that may be decrypted, protect their systems, and mitigate any possible harm. And that's why promptly contacting law enforcement, as happened with the victims in this case, is critical to preventing harm.
Mr. Dennehy, you guys mentioned that they didn't only attack here, but they actually attacked inside their own country of Iran. Was the government of Iran aware of their activities? And what does this mean if they were committing similar crimes inside their own country?
So I can't comment on the Iranian government's awareness of this. I could say that a lot of these companies, regardless of where they were located, were targets of opportunity for the cyber actors themselves as a way of just making money for personal gain. So as far as commenting on government involvement or awareness, I can't get into that.
About accountability regarding inside Iran or elsewhere, will they be held accountable?
The hope is that all governments will hold criminals accountable for activity that takes place within their borders.
For the U.S. Attorney, can you talk to us a little bit more about the cyber attack on the township in New Jersey? What kind of information was compromised? Was there any property tax information or voter registration information compromised in it?
I can tell you that in connection with the township, information was compromised. The indictment does not get into specifics as to what kind of information there was, so I'm not able to get into that in any detail today.
But the people in that town, can they be confident that their information is now secure, or is that information out there on the dark web somewhere?
So what I can say to that is that the people of that township and beyond should be confident in knowing that the FBI is engaging in order to take every step in order to keep all of their information secure at all times.
And have you substantiated any links between these individuals and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps at all?
So inside the indictment specifically, it mentions just the facts that you could read with no connectivity to the Iranian government. But that indictment, again, as the U.S. Attorney said, is limited to the facts that could be proven beyond a reasonable doubt within a court of law based on unclassified methods, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so we're not in a court of law right now, Agent, so can you tell us, are these just three crooks that happen to live in Iran, or are these a national security threat to the United States?
So I won't tell you any further information related to the government of Iran based on what the facts are within the indictment. This, however, is part of a much larger effort when it comes to the cybersecurity advisory that I would encourage you to read as well, along with other agencies getting involved, from Rewards for Justice as well as Treasury Department activity. That's all part of a whole of government effort when it comes to this particular threat.
And can you tell me a little bit more about the $10 million reward? How would someone collect that? What information are you looking for?
Any information specific to the activities of these actors that are going to help us put the pieces of this puzzle together further, and that $10 million is a reward for every single actor, so a total of $30 million.
And Agent, separately, have any of your agents visited or executed search warrants at former President Trump's Bedminster golf course in connection with the ongoing classified materials investigation? U.S. Attorney, is your office involved in that?
So this press conference is to specifically discuss this cyber activity.
So you're not going to comment?
No.
Could be yes, could be no? You don't want to just shoot that down right now and say, no, we haven't been out there?
No, I'd rather not comment on that.
Okay. U.S. Attorney, do you want to comment on that at all?
No, I'm not going to comment on that subject.
So,
We have other questions?
I have a question from somebody who's
Yes.
on the live stream asking, there are a lot of townships and accounting firms in New Jersey. Unlike in previous hacking cases, it's unclear whether these have been reported prior to this press conference. Is there any way you can identify any of the victims of these cyber attacks?
We're not able to identify the names of the victims, but the indictment is pretty detailed about the specific categories of victims that there are. In terms of the indictment names, a township, 2 accounting firms, a power company, a domestic violence shelter, a housing authority, construction company, a county, and a bar association of a state. But we're not able to name the specific entities.
We would, however, like to use this as an opportunity to educate the public. So if there are other entities out there in the state of New Jersey or beyond who are receiving some sort of cyber intrusion or hacking or activity that seems obviously suspicious, contact us. Either through the ic3.gov website or call our field office. We have cyber agents in every field office in the United States and beyond. In fact, in all of our legal attachés around the world as well. The earlier that you call and contact us and give us information about what activity might be ongoing, the faster we can help you. In addition, it provides us more information to help us connect the dots that we can share with the rest of the industry.
That question, by the way, was from Rye Rivard, who's a reporter for Politico.
In terms of victims, is there anything common about their defenses? These power companies, hospitals, pretty sophisticated in their defenses, generally speaking. Was there any gap that is consistent among the victims here that made them more vulnerable?
The indictment charges that the defendants targeted known vulnerabilities in commercially available systems and targets of opportunity, including critical infrastructure. So there obviously is a commonality in that regard.
And the specifics of that in the TTPs are located in the cybersecurity advisory that's issued today as well.
I'd like to try 2 off-topic questions.
Can I just stay on this for 1 second? I have a question from Jana Winter from Yahoo News. Can you talk about the timing of the unsealing of this indictment today? Does it have anything to do with Iranian diplomats flying into Newark International Airport or flying into the United States for the United Nations General Assembly?
I'm not able to provide any information on the timing.
I was just wondering if I could try off topic. There was a security scare at Newark Liberty Airport this past weekend with a device that appeared to be like a stick of dynamite left in a restroom at that airport. I was wondering if determinations were made if it was a real device, and is there any update on who planted this device on 9/11?
So the FBI, along with the Port Authority, Police Department, and other partner agencies responded to that incident. We were able to locate the device, and we are looking into further investigative steps at this time. That's all I can comment on.
And there was an incident with Mr. Rushdie, the key suspect in that case from New Jersey. I was wondering, a month now into the investigation, were there any warning signs? Are federal charges expected in connection with that alleged plot, and what can you tell us about that?
We're not able to comment further on that case.
And my last question, Clark, New Jersey, sir, can you provide us with any update regarding the allegations of misconduct by that township's mayor? And is there any update on the investigation in connection with that matter?
We have been made aware of the allegations regarding Clark. I can assure you that this office takes allegations of that type very seriously. I personally take allegations of that type very seriously.
Is a formal investigation open as a result? Is your office investigating the FBI? Is it a civil rights on the civil side, criminal side, anything you can share with us?
I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of an investigation, other than to repeat the highest priority that our office, both of our offices, the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office, place on allegations relating to hate and discrimination.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Made it work well. Didn't mean to cut you off. Didn't realize you were